whatever Black excellence means to each and every one of us. That's the expansion, like being rooted in something.
Cheers to that.
Absolutely.
Mazel tov!
I actually really hate the expression Black excellence.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss Bravo's brand new show, Summer House Martha's Vineyard, Season 1, Episode 1. Now, before we get started, let me just tell you that Bravo sent me the screener last week, and when I saw it, I said, okay, Bravo has another hit on their hands, a very strong premiere episode. I definitely see them doing well in the ratings. I see them getting a second season. Now, I don't know if the cast will be the same. I could see them swapping out a few people. That's no shade. We'll talk more about that later on. But so far, so good. I was definitely thoroughly entertained. And I saw on Twitter that a lot of you guys like the show too, and you're invested. If you've been following me for quite some time, you know that I'm from New York. I grew up in Jack and Jill. I've talked about it in several of my Potomac recaps. And in the Jack and Jill chapter that I grew up in, a lot of the families either went to the Hamptons or Martha's Vineyard in the summertime. Now, my family, we were Hamptons people, okay? It was Sag Harbor, East Hampton, and then a lot of my friends, they would stay on the Vineyard every summer. It was always Oak Bluffs, where this cast is staying on the show, and a very rich history there. And Bria, at the premiere party, I had to call you out when you said that Martha's Vineyard is 10 times better than the Hamptons. And I was like, now, girl, they are both beautiful. They are both lovely. Let's not pit two bad bitches against each other, okay? And the Hamptons has a very rich history of Black people being there, especially Sag Harbor. Look it up when you get a chance, but yeah, the Hamptons has a very rich history of Black vacationers there as well. I'm curious to find out how true Martha's Vineyard vacationers feel about this show airing. But anyhow, the standout for me on this cast is Preston, hands down. He's an instant favorite. I loved how he clocked the whole Black excellence, like, let's not, it's rooted in elitism and classism. Let's stop saying that. And I have to say, that low-key checked me too, because I kind of used to say that quite often. And when I really think about it, it's very classist, because you're pretty much saying that you're only excellent or worthy if you have material items or degrees or money, and that's not the case. Everybody is inherently worthy, but I love how he broke that down. Like, no, we're all excellent just because we're here. Like, being Black is just excellence in itself. Like, I love it. But Preston, for me, is definitely my favorite. We'll see how that goes throughout the season, but I think that I'm gonna like Preston the most. Now, just so we're clear, the Summer House Martha's Vineyard recaps are going to be a bit different because the formula is different from a Housewives show. So don't be surprised if I'm not going scene by scene and I'm maybe skipping ahead, because, again, it's a different formula, a different cast, a different show. And this cast is too damn big. I mean, they got 11 people on this cast. And in case you didn't know, we have more cast members joining in the middle of the season. And shout out to Jason. He's going to be joining this cast middle of the season. And he was letting me know that some of the cast filmed for 30 days and that the other half of the cast filmed for 15 days. So I know that you see in this first episode, it says day 1 out of 15, but in reality, they actually filmed for a full 30 days. So I guess we're going to see how that dynamic works, with some of them being there the whole time and some of them only being there for half of the time. But either way, it's going to be some good drama. Let me just start off by saying that I do love that we're getting a history lesson on Martha's Vineyard. When we first open up the show, we're introduced to Jasmine and Silas. They're the married couple. They're the hosts of The Whole Summer. And Off rip, Jasmine, you must have said Black excellence about 50 times in the first 2 minutes. And I said, now, girl, enough. But they're checking out the house. There's the chef, and the house is gorgeous. And low key, their house reminded me of a Hamptons house. The Hamptons houses look just like that. So I just said it was just so funny because if I didn't know it was a Martha's Vineyard spinoff, I would have assumed that they were in the Hamptons. But anyhow, I digress. Now, I met Jasmine at the premiere party, and she was lovely, very sweet. You can tell that she's very excited to be on TV. Now, I know that on Twitter, a lot of you guys didn't care too much for her or her man, but in person, they were very sweet. And some of the people that you guys are going up for on Twitter, I was like, now, at the premiere party, I thought that they were kind of standoffish. I was like, oh, okay, you guys got some big egos already, and the first episode still hasn't premiered yet, but okay. Depending on how the season plays out, I'm probably going to drop names on who I thought was standoffish and kind of rude, but we'll get to that later on. Listen. If you are in this space, content creation, reality TV, anything in entertainment, you need to be humble and be grateful and thankful because this can be gone in a minute, okay? So you need to just be very gracious and very sweet because you never know. You could be on a show one day and be off the show the next day. Your show could be on air today and be canceled and a big flop the next day. So I think that everybody needs to just calm it down. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyhow, Jasmine was very sweet and Silas was very nice too. So we see all their friends coming in one by one. Preston comes to the house, and it's funny because him and Silas are line brothers. So there's that connection. So now we see Bria show up, and she has her dog Milo with her. So they're all kind of like, now, girl, you didn't tell us you were bringing your dog. Like, at least give somebody a heads up. I agree. If I'm inviting you to stay with me, please give me the heads up that you are bringing your pet. I think that it's in poor taste to just show up with your pet and not tell anybody. People could be allergic to your pet. People might not be a dog or a cat person. Like, give the host a heads up. Now, Bria, I gotta call you out again because when I was talking to you, I said, now, girl, why would you bring that dog and not tell them? And you told me that you did tell them beforehand. Production is editing it to make it look like you're in the wrong. But I don't know if I believe that, Bria, because Jasmine's reaction did not give me a fake reaction to that dog. That was a very real reaction that she was pissed off that you came with the dog in hand and didn't tell her. So I don't know what to believe. I hope that you guys do get a reunion because I want this whole thing squared away. Preston had me screaming with the shade, talking about Bria reminds him of somebody who tried out for Miss USA and didn't make it. I said, well, damn. But the dynamic that I am looking forward to seeing is Bria and Jasmine because they're not really friends. It's like work acquaintances because they all worked at the Playboy Club together back in the day. It was her, Jordan, Bria, and another friend named Shanice. Bria and Shanice are good friends, and Shanice invited Bria to the house. She wasn't Jasmine's choice to be in the house together. So already you can feel the tension between them. We find out that Bria has a man named Simon. He's in Germany. And I think Jasmine was like, girl, what do you mean you have this man in Germany? Like, really? And she's like, well, the other guys coming to the house are super cute. And Bria's like, why are you trying to tell me about these other guys when I have a man? I just told you that I'm in a relationship. So already things are going to a really crazy start. Now, let me just say this. Simon was very nice. I met him at the premiere party. We talked for a few minutes, very friendly, very upbeat. And I'm excited to see what he brings when he comes to the house later on in the season. So we meet more of the guys. We meet Nick. He's talking about he has the most extensive wardrobe out of everybody in the house. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Have you seen everybody's clothes? Again, I didn't think that a lot of these guys had a lot of personality. I guess we'll have to see what happens as the show goes on. But Nick seemed a little teeny bit corny to me. Just a tad. Just a tad. Especially when it was found out that he's been in Jordan's DMs for a good year and she has him on red. I was like, ooh, that's embarrassing. But anyhow, we also meet Alex. Alex is a Black creative. Him and Jasmine met in 2019. We also find out later on that John Legend is his cousin. So now we meet Amir, and Amir is from Texas. I think he's from Austin. He's half Black, half Lebanese. And he's excited because it's his first time in Martha's Vineyard. And he wants to be around his Black people because he grew up with his mom, who's Lebanese, and his whole Lebanese side. So now when Jordan arrives to the house, we see Silas talking about Jordan is a great friend to Jasmine, but Jordan is the party friend and Jasmine is now a married woman. Now, Silas, the way they ate you up on Twitter, I said, this is not a good look. You're going down the wrong road. We have seen this play out where there's that controlling husband and he wants to low-key dictate where his wife goes. And it seems to be that that's going to be your storyline for the rest of the season, and it's not going to be a good look. I'm just like, you should have picked another storyline because this ain't it. Your wife is a grown woman. And for you to say, well, that's the party friend, and my wife is a married woman, so because she's married, she no longer has autonomy. She can't go out with friends. Like, you really sound insecure. We learned that Jordan was the 4th Playmate of the year, and she and Jasmine are super close. They consider themselves like cousin sisters. And yeah, they are BFFs. So while Jasmine's giving Jordan a tour of the house, we find out that Amir is feeling her. He likes her. And I'm going to just let you guys know something right now. No shade to either of y'all, but I'm not going to be spending time on this storyline with Jordan and Amir because we already know that Amir has a girlfriend. So this whole thing about, are they going to get together? I'm like, I guess, but Amir is taken. But one of y'all had me cracking up on Twitter. You were like, so Amir's girlfriend allowed him to be single for TV? I don't know if it was just me, but the whole conversation with Nick, Amir, and Alex, it just felt so high school to me when they were calling dibs on what girl they liked. And I was thinking, how old are you guys? 15? You guys are grown men. Talk about, I call dibs on this person. Like, what? I thought the conversation at dinner was cute. Preston was asking all of them, what are they excited for about the summer? And Amir said that he wants to get in touch with his Black side because he only grew up with his Lebanese family. He was saying that he didn't even know how to do his own hair until the age of 24. I was like, what? Were there any other Black kids at his school that he could have asked to find the nearest barbershop? I was surprised about that. I thought it was funny when Jasmine said that she's excited for expansion. They do this every year for a purpose. And Mariah was like, girl, what? You've only been here twice. Like, what are you talking about? Like, please stop trying to put 20 on 10, Like, you do not come here every summer.
You're not fab like that to be doing all of that.
But can I tell you something? Nobody had to tell me that this was Jasmine's second time in the Vineyard, because somebody who goes to the Vineyard all the time, they're not saying Black excellence every 2 seconds. And again, that's no shade, Jasmine. And when Jasmine said, Black excellence, and when Preston clocked her and he said, not trying to be contrarian for contrarian's sake, but I really despise that term because my mother, who raised 3 children on her own, that's Black excellence right there. Now, I do think it's shady that every time Preston talks, production puts the church organ I was like, y'all are so messed up. Like, he's making valid points. Please don't shade him. Now, when we get to the next day, I like how we got to know everybody for the most part a little bit more. We learned that Silas works in finance, but he's also in the Army Reserves. So we see Mariah and Jasmine working on their script. I know that Jasmine's a screenwriter, and we learned that I think in 2017, when Jasmine had just moved to New York, she had fallen behind on the rent and she got evicted. So when Mariah came to New York, they ended up living in Mariah's car. So she said that they decided to make their misfortune into a movie, and so they made a short film about when they were living in the car. Now, let me just say, I was surprised to find out that Jasmine had been evicted because she wasn't getting paid a good amount of money working at the Playboy Club. I was surprised to hear that. But I like how they were both open about their struggles and they overcame them. So I said, you know what? Shout out to them for telling their story and being honest and laying their cards out on the table. Mariah seems very level-headed. You can tell that she's the peacemaker for the most part. Very cool, very calm, very zen. Now, while they're working on the script, they notice all this dog hair on the couch and they're like, you have got to be kidding me. Bria's damn dog is shedding, like this is a mess, like she needs to clean it up. So they call Bria because she's out by the pool and they're like, girl, you know there's dog hair everywhere, right? Bria's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? This is your dog. When you bring your pet somewhere, you're responsible to clean up after it. And I think that it's just so rude and so inconsiderate that you brought your dog and you don't really care about how it's going to affect other people. And when Jasmine and Mariah were trying to talk to Bria about the situation, I felt like Bria was immediately on the defense. I felt like she wasn't trying to hear them out. She was very rude. She started snapping, and it was like, you have to acknowledge that showing up with your dog and not telling anybody is very inconsiderate, and you're not the host of this trip. You're a guest. And for you to be so dismissive and act like, well, I don't care. Hey, like, if my dog sheds, like, it is what it is. You can't have that attitude. But Bria says that Jasmine's being very insensitive about her dog. Jasmine feels disrespected. And she's like, you're not understanding where I'm coming from. So Jasmine makes it clear that Bria never told her in the first place about the dog coming. And now Bria gets up. She's like, you know what? I'm not doing this. Don't talk to me like that. She gets up and walks away. She's like, shout out to everybody. I have fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
And I'm thinking, girl, be an adult and just have an adult conversation. Why is that so difficult? If that were me, I would have said, you know what, Jasmine, you're right. I'm sorry. I'll clean up after the dog. I'll make sure that the dog isn't shedding. Like, just say something to smooth it over. And I thought it was very immature of you to walk out and then say, you know what, I'll slap somebody in here. Like, girl, it's not that deep. And you guys are in Martha's Vineyard. You should not even be talking about slapping somebody. Like, girl, what? Jordan points out the beef between Bria and Jasmine and how their dynamic is a bit strange. I'm dying to find out what is the root of why they don't like each other. Because they've both hinted that they just work together. Like, it was cordial because they were the only black girls at the Playboy Club, but they really didn't like each other. And the way they interact with each other, you can tell that it's like a Penny Proud, La Cienega Boulevardist situation. I don't know if there's some jealousy maybe involved. I don't understand why they have so much tension. I hope we'll find out more because that whole conversation about the dog should not have escalated. Also, Jasmine saying earlier on in the episode that Bria wasn't even her first choice to be in the house. That lets me know right there that the beef between them is a lot deeper than what they're trying to tell us. But again, I guess we'll find out more later on. And when Bria got on the phone with Simon to tell him all the drama, I said, well, what is Simon gonna do? He's all the way in Germany. You're in Martha's Vineyard. Now, that little short scene with Alex, Amir, and Jordan outside, and I think Amir was asking Jordan about her dating life, and Jordan's like, dating's always been hard for me. Being in Playboy, it's like, are you a fan or what? And then when she said that she's been celibate for a year, I was like, girl, why are you telling these men all this information and you just met them? Men do not need to know your life story, especially when you first meet them. I would not have shared all that information. I would have said, you know, I'm a single woman, having my fun, enjoying myself, and that would have been that. I would not have gone on this long diatribe about how being in Playboy has made dating hard for me and I've been celibate. Like, that's nobody's business. Now, when we see Jasmine and Preston in the house, they're talking about the whole disagreement with Bria about the dog. Now, mind you, Bria is laying down on the couch, but since Jasmine's back is to her, she doesn't know that Bria's behind her. So while she's talking, Bria interrupts and she's like, girl, I'm right here. If you want to talk to me, like, talk to me. So now they hash it out. Bria apologizes for coming off as insensitive. And then she addresses Jasmine and she's like, look, but you had me effed up because I feel like you're being disrespectful to me in my relationship. I told you that I have a man, and for you to ask me several times about the other guys in this house, why would you do that? So Jasmine cops to it. She's like, you know what, girl, you're right. Please believe I would not try to try you in your relationship like that because I'd be mad if somebody did that to me, and I'm a married woman. You can tell that even though they hugged and made up, they still don't really like each other. So I'm willing to bet that throughout the rest of this season, there's going to be more drama between Bria and Jasmine. Now, this last scene, they're all out at dinner, and that food looked amazing. They have lobster and fish tacos, and salivating as we speak, okay? So as they're all eating, you have Jasmine trying to force these kindergarten, middle school conversations. And one thing I hate is somebody who's not comfortable with silence. It is okay to be quiet. We don't need to be talking 24/7. And I feel like Jasmine is kind of like nervous because she kept asking these stupid questions. She's like, okay, guys, so what are we excited about for this summer? And who likes who? And I loved when Jordan said, girl, can we not have a conversation that involves a prompt? Like, let the conversation flow organically. We don't need you trying to facilitate the conversation. And I agree. Oh, when Jasmine asked that stupid question talking about what do you guys think about singlehood or like the struggles of singlehood, let's talk about it. It was like, girl, what? You've been married for 2 minutes and now you want to give everybody else advice? I can't stand people like that. I mean, they try to give you advice and it's like, okay, you just got a boyfriend, just got married 2 days ago. You don't have all the answers. You don't have the guide to life. Stop, please. Jasmine was doing way too much at that dinner table. I was getting secondhand embarrassment. Mariah interjects and she's like, Jasmine, were you and Bria able to talk? And they're like, yes, we talked. We hashed it out. It's all good. So now the conversation turns to Jordan and Jasmine's friendship. And you have Silas jump in and he's like, yeah, I love their friendship. But the thing is, Jordan used to have Jasmine out till 2 and 3 in the morning. And they're all looking at him like, sir, what? I don't know if it was Amir or Nick, but one of them said, I could see Jordan being the toxic friend. So Jordan's annoyed. She's like, really? Because I like to have a good time? I don't understand. So Silas reiterates that she used to have his wife out at 2 and 3 in the morning, and then he would get calls from Jasmine talking about, oh yeah, these guys bought us drinks at the club. So Jordan's like, first of all, it would be open bar half the time, free drinks, like what are you talking about? Second of all, just because she's your wife that means that she can't go out anymore. And Silas, the fact that you kept going, I really wanted you just to stop. I said, please, you're making yourself sound worse. You sound like a very controlling husband. And it's not a good look for you to blame your wife's friend for having her outside and acting like she's a bad influence on your wife. And Nick, while you were caught in 4K being corny in Jordan's DMs, I have to say I was with you when you said, first of all, Jasmine and Jordan are best friends. Jasmine knew Jordan before she knew you. And you sound crazy right now, acting like your wife can't be outside. And he even said, what's wrong with being outside? I loved when Preston jumped in to give his opinion on the matter. And again, production, y'all are so shady because y'all started playing the church organ while he was talking. I said, please stop. I said, please don't do him like that. He's making valid points. But Jordan's pissed. She's like, look, I am not the one or the two. You're not going to sit up here and make me out to be the problem. And I agree. I think that Silas is coming off as insecure. And it's not a good look. That's not fair to act like your wife can't go out with her friends once in a while because she's a married woman. Does she give you any issues when you go out with your line brothers? So I don't understand why you feel this need to sort of police her and act like she's not allowed to be out. And from Jasmine's personality, it's clear that she loves her husband. So I don't know why you're acting so worried about what's going to happen when she's out and about. I don't know. I just feel like, Silas, you're going down the wrong road. And it's apparent that this is going to be a recurring issue because in the trailer, you seem threatened when I think Jasmine goes out to one of the clubs later on and you're questioning her and questioning some of the guys in the house. It's going to be a hot mess. And also, Silas, your wife is a grown-ass woman. And if she were to do something crazy while she's out and about with anybody, not just Jordan, she has free will. And nobody can force her to do anything that she doesn't already want to do. So for you to act like Jordan is just out here trying to sway somebody to still act single, I mean, bro, you need to take that up with God and look within and ask yourself why you're being so insecure and you're sounding very controlling. You are. I have to be honest. But y'all, that was the premiere episode of Summer House Martha's Vineyard. Again, I enjoyed. I think that they are off to a great start, and I look forward to seeing how everything unfolds. I cannot wait to see how these storylines play out. But guys, you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.